Hello folks and welcome back to another Legacy of Kain bug hunting expedition. Today is Friday the 24th of December 2021 and I'm bringing to you a Christmas Eve special. The time is 6:39 p.m. and I wanted to show you a particular bug. So as you can see there are three gargoyles, each pouring out some moisture, some water. Um, and it pours into that pool there, which eventually leads to becoming the water forge. So you don't actually have to uh, gather all the spears in order to unlock the forge, and I'm going to show you how. Now you can see that I've already got Blood Drinker,
Heart Seeker.
and so I've got two of them already. I don't bother fighting these ghouls because they always appear every time you come down here. So every time you come down, they're always here, and it's just a nuisance more than anything else. However, wow, I would always recommend that you kill all the enemies in this area, only because it becomes a pain in the backside to actually try and perform the next feat, which is to basically break the wall. Oops, wrong button. In the water, and so you don't want to really be disturbed when you do it. So at this point you pretty much use the telekinetic aim, but you point it down. Alright, I'm probably gonna have to change the angle where I'm standing. Interesting. This is not the right area, my bad. You have to... Oop, wrong button. Go into spectral mode. Go through the bars. So you will see a wall right there with a little fracture in it. You have to break that, but obviously you can't do that in the spectral realm. So you have to climb up. Hopefully these guys don't try to absorb my life when I'm doing it. Should be a little... Here we go, that's what I'm after. There'll probably be some Hilden enemies that you have to kill. You do need to kill them, otherwise they will just bug you. I always change to the Fire Reaver because when you get enough rage, it basically Kentucky Fries everyone in the area, which is what you want really. So you might be able to hear my mouse clicking. So I've set the action key as the attack button. There you go. Oops. Camera's great in Defiance, isn't it? Constantly blocking your view. He's still alive. You can always tell when they're about to die because they have blood splatters. There it is. So I can just absorb that. Thank you. So this is where you need to get to obtain the third spear. So about here-ish. Hilden dead in the water. You want to run your telekinetic blast against that little fracture. It should turn red. There you go. And as you can see, it broke. What you want to do is swim down there. So for all intents and purposes, I am using a keyboard and mouse to play Defiance. No, I do not use a pad. Personally, and it's just only my personal preference, I do not see the point in using a pad to play a PC game. Although, you know, that's just my personal preference. Every PC game I've ever played has always been on a PC, keyboard and mouse. So I just want to show you that, just going to jump on the other side. Otherwise you have to move slowly towards it, that there's not a fracture in the wall. As you can see, there's no fracture. But you can actually hear the Hilden on the other side. You can even hear the battle music. So on the PC version, you have to take him out of combat mode, and then you can move him around. Otherwise, he'll be fussy. The other thing you'll see is the funny cutscene. Even though I just walk through here, you'll see the cutscene engage. I absolutely hate this puzzle. It's almost impossible to do on the PC with a keyboard and mouse. Especially because the keys that have been assigned are not particularly friendly. And to top it all off, you have to be extremely quick. So you have to preempt the pillars coming up before they actually come up in order to actually get to the other end, which sucks because you're constantly playing catch up to something you can't really see. Hopefully you won't see me do this 100 times because you don't want to see that. And because of the constant camera switching, it makes it very disorientating. I keep missing the third pillar. Crikey. The one thing I really do hate about this camera is that not only are you constantly switching backwards and forwards, or actually it's not to do with the camera, actually it's to do with the actual jump mechanism. It's to do with the when you try to do a double jump, because normally when you jump, one of the first things you do is try to float. If you try to do that when you actually grapple something, what he does is he does this weird kind of kickback thing, which is really, really not awkward necessarily. It's just, it's just really frustrating because anytime that you want to jump and jump again to do the float, he will continue to mess up. Oh, finally.
Perhaps this arcane emblem would unlock the sealed door in the crypt.
Which it does. So now we want to go back down here. To avoid constantly swimming, I tend to jump and float because it's far quicker to do that than to constantly swim. Wow. If you can, just telekinetic blast them into the water. If they glow green, then you can't do that because all that happens is they repel your blast by blasting you. So the one thing that I wanted to show you, and I won't be able to do this at this point, is there's usually a fracture in the wall that I'm about to, well, I can't break it now because there's no fracture in it, but this particular area is where you need to get the final piece of the emblem, which is that bad boy there. Once you do that, then you basically blast that. I can't do it now because I haven't actually pierced the one of the demons, the gargoyles. So I have to go back there, pierce the gargoyle. Okay. They're relentless. So obviously I can't go from here. Normally what you can do is if there's a when you break the wall. Sorry, when you pierce the wall, you can actually break it. So what I'm going to have to do is go back into Spectral Realm. Where are we going? Oh, here we are. I don't recall if this can actually be done because I've never tried to do it. In health. Just ignore them. Otherwise you'd be here forever. I get the feeling I can't go back. No. Well, that's crap, isn't it? So I'm going to have to go the long way around. Which isn't what I wanted to do. So what should happen is basically I find out a way out of Voradors' mansion. And then go the long way around. So this is what I mean. They literally designed this mechanism so that you could do this kickback move, which is you jump and then he moves in the opposite direction. But if you don't want to do that, then he will just constantly do it. And that's just infuriating because anytime that you're trying to latch onto something or do a double jump, you can't do it. The other thing with the camera is you have to wait for the camera to turn at certain points. Otherwise, what tends to happen is what tends to happen is oh, crikey. See what I mean there? I didn't want to do that. So what tends to happen is you end up doing a kickback when you want to do a double jump. And so if you're in a particular area where you actually have to jump from pillar to post, you then have to redo the whole thing. And sometimes that can mean traveling quite far just to do something very simple. That's frustrating in its own right. So I'll be avoiding enemies down the next corridor because they always populate no matter how many times you kill them. Which is this bad boy here. So the easiest way to do it is just keep jumping, otherwise their telekinetic blast will constantly hit you. Just need to change the air reaver. At the peak of the jump. Jump yourself. So In order to crack it, you need to actually match this particular symbol. So since we already have it in here, we can just use it. Alright, so now the wall is fractured. We literally just go back down there. So I could have done that first and then shown you, but I had to show you why. Which is essentially the wall is not fractured. Again, ignore the ghouls. And there we can see.
These murals were attuned somehow to those.
Now you don't have to go downstairs and
For this
go
wall
convert
could not
to
shatter.
Spectral Realm. You just literally blast it, job done. Unfortunately, the spear that we used also aligns with the next puzzle, which was what I was telling you about earlier. Yeah, bad boy there. I do like the camera when it does stuff like that, but then occasionally you bump into walls because you can't see. So this puzzle is quite simple. You got 4 pillars. I don't know why you have the light and dark symbol at the very bottom, which is aligned to essentially this pillar which comes up. But essentially that has to be air. That bad boy has to be fire. That has to be earth. And that has to be water. So then you just jump onto the pillar. And then jump to the other side. Oops.
Ah, here was the second piece of the emblem. Now, undoubtedly, the crypt door could be opened.
Thanks for that revelation, Rosiel. When he's just about to land, he always reminds me of Batman. Where he holds his wings. It's like he's holding his cape. Again, don't fight any of the enemies, just do what you need to do, otherwise you'll be here all day.
The artifact I had was not sufficient. There was clearly still a missing piece to this puzzle.
To this part, oh, actually, you know what? It's worth killing them only because I need some health. Because you have to fight 2 gargoyle statues and you're going to need the health. Where did that other enemy go? Did he just disappear into the wall? Oh, the other one's gone now. There we go. And thank you very much. Absolutely going to need that. So now what you want to do... Oops, wrong button. Need the fire reaver. Always make sure you have that full, because you're going to need that when you have to light up these lanterns. I'm not trying to do that, believe it or not. I'm actually holding the action button down to do that. The spear appears, you come to collect it, the door closes, and the gargoyles start fighting you. Oops, wrong direction. Always enable combat mode. So I personally keep the button held down so that I can do things like rolls or strafes. Don't attack them when they have the fire shield, otherwise you end up losing health. And you can't really afford to lose health in this area because there's literally no place to get more. I hope I don't die, otherwise this is going to be an embarrassing failure. Although I've got hardly any health. Wow, considering I have got very little health, I'm surprised that even worked. The key is to roll around a lot.
With this third and final weapon,
When you come to fight the Elder God, that's incredibly important because he will continue to fire optic blasts. Kind of like Cyclops. Always good to have that bad boy charged. I'm gonna be cheeky. Hopefully there'll be some. Come on, there's got to be some more. There we go. Right, it's better than nothing. Oh, I can hit some more. There we go. Nice. Alright, so now that we've got that part done, we can actually go back. I think I need the... Yep, I need the air reaver. Otherwise you can't open the door. This really should be called Raziel's mansion. How is Voradors supposed to open any of those doors when he doesn't have a Wraith Reaver? Even the Blood Reaver wasn't designed for that. So now what we do is, obviously you can see that there are still 2 gargoyles spouting water, whilst the third is actually spouting blood. You can see the blood there. So obviously I'm not going to do the last one, just do the middle one. The middle one's actually the key. And the Water Reaver should activate. Sorry, the Water Forge for the Water Reaver should activate. And there we have it. You can hear him still walking, even though I jumped into the pool. So for all intents and purposes, I will show you Raziel acquiring the Water Reaver.
here the images were unadulterated, and their meaning ominously clear. The vampire hero, the bearer of the Reaver Blade, was confronted by an adversary worthy of his powers. The enemy race, long banished, had a champion of their own, with flaming eyes and a fiery sword. The resemblance I bore to the adversary mocked all my hopes. Had Kain been the vampire hero of prophecy all along? Did he suspect what I was? For if I was this foretold adversary, then Mobius was right, and had always been right. I was destined to fight Kain and destroy him, or be destroyed. What part did free will play in any of this?
Good question. Oops. Whilst that's not really a bug, you do notice that if you stand next to one of those bars, for example, and you go from physical to spiritual realm, he does this thing where he basically, the animation goes straight through. And so he doesn't actually do the animation where he walks through. That was weird.
Your deliverance is at hand. In death is your release. This state is merely atonement.
If you say so. I would just focus on one guardian at a time because there's too many. There's too much to do and too many people to fight. The thing, I wouldn't actually kill these guys only because you're going to need to absorb them as your health starts coming down. Come on, Raziel, stop doing that. I think I might have to absorb some health. Come on. These guys are absolutely relentless, tag teaming me. How is that remotely fair? Even the animation got stopped from trying to absorb them. I need that. Come on. I really need to absorb him. I'm gonna die. Okay, that's not bad. Some health is better than no health. Okay, finally, one of them down. Absolute challenge, that is. When they tag team you, they're absolutely relentless. They don't give you an opportunity to actually get more health. Okay, this is not bad. There you go. Just got to convert to the physical realm, absorb it, and then go back. Just can't remember which room it is that actually has the the ethereal gas so that you can transform back. Oh, here we go. So we found that, but we need some souls. Nothing. As much as it pains me to say it, I hope there's actually some enemies when I convert. Whilst I do like this, it really does slow you down from actually getting back into the game. So one thing I've always wanted to find out is what the hell that thing does. That's absolutely useless. Because when you absorb that, that entry is closed. And I think all that does is allows you to go up. Yeah.
Once more, the Reaver absorbed the spirits of the former vampire guardians, and thus was imbued with the elemental power of water. Perhaps now I could enter that mysterious crypt at the end of the garden.
So just need to use it. Oops. Oh, God, that camera. So this one is actually quite sneaky, right? If I show you with my mouse, that's where you have to go next. So obviously for Raziel, that's way too high. So you actually have to convert to the spiritual realm. And then you go back down here. Unfortunately, they have a ethereal point. One thing I made the mistake of doing last time is I fell down by accident years ago. Make sure you're far enough away that you don't drop off. You don't want to have that happen. And now you can just convert to the Water Reaver, turn that bad boy off. 2 down, 3 to go. You have to come back to the Spirit Realm. I'm actually running out of health. Oh, that's something we went to already. I wonder if there is something down here. No. Oh, here we go. Actually, I'm a bit skeptical because this is probably the transporter that takes you to the... Yeah, so there's nothing here. So there's no point because otherwise you convert to the physical realm and then you can't get out. This is what you use when you actually come to finish the area. So I'm going to have to jump down because I've got no other choice. So these are the 2 other ones. So I have to convert to the physical realm, turn those bad boys off, and then at the very top of that waterfall, there is another font, I suppose it's called. It's not it. Where you just switch that bad boy off, and then you go back. Here we go. Convert back to the Water Reaver. I always jump because sometimes if you take too long, it just goes back to water again. As you can see, you want to be quick. Alright, so there's only 2 left, which is good. Where was it now? We can hear some enemies. I have no idea where the hell they are. Probably those bloody ghouls. Oh yes, it was down at the bottom, wasn't it? I remember now. There we go. So that's where you go back into that area so that you can turn into the into the physical realm so that you can basically go back. There are probably 3 parts of the game, the entire game, that are very unforgiving. You could probably hear that ghost. You have to take him out of combat mode to actually come. The thing I hate about those things is that they can be both in physical and spectral. See? Don't enable combat mode, otherwise you'll never get out of here alive. There we go. And as you can see, it's still pouring with water, and I have the water reaver. Oops. So what I'll do is I'll call it a day for now, only because if you want me to play this so that I can actually show you the next part, which is essentially the whole thing becomes blood, and I will still have
Blood Drinker.
Blood Drinker equipped, even though it will be inside the actual gargoyle statue and pouring blood, and you actually can't get rid of it and you can't use it. If I use it right now, it will make no difference. It will just do the animation and then nothing happens. Actually, I think all you see is you see with the cracks in the actual rock, you get the same thing that are relevant to that particular gargoyle. So in this particular case, you would see that one. But what I want to do is I want to show you the part of Voradors mansion whereby that particular piece that I went to get one part of the puzzle, you know, that 3 pillar point where I actually jumped and fell a couple of times. Yeah, that's a bug. If I go back there, that wall will not be fractured. So the reason I don't want to actually impale the gargoyle now is because it means that I won't be able to show you that later on. What I'll do is I'll show you as a separate point and just have this as a one straight video, otherwise you'll see Kain and there's just like a good 20 minutes of him going through multiple forges to get an energy ball to activate another forge that will allow you to get another part of his emblem, and then that point it transfers back to Raziel. So what I might do is I might splice the videos instead, might make it easier. So for now I will say good day, and yeah, have a great Christmas, and see you back shortly. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one. Take care.